and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life, truly, truly, beloveds, on your own terms. Really want to thank everyone that has subscribed to the channel. 90K and pushing. I'm like, yeah. But more importantly, please go ahead and like and share this video, beloveds. So, hey, I'm even getting tongue-tied, so that more and more of our people can get this critical message at such a time as this. Thanks to everyone that supports us on Patreon and enables us to continue to, to bring this awakening news to our people. Now, I got a question from a few of you in the mail. Don't forget, you can always, email me, drmumbi at drmumbishow.com, who were asking, why was Kenya's president, Uhuru Kenyatta, picked as the first African president to be able to visit Joe Biden, in the White House? Like, what's up with that? And there's so many angles to this, beloved, so many angles to this particular story. But the truth of why he was actually invited will actually surprise you. Now, a lot of different newspapers ran this story. The Guardian actually came out and said, Biden meets Kenyatta as Pandora Papers leak swirls around world leaders. I don't know if you're familiar with the Pandora Papers, but they were basically leaked, and they showed how different leaders, business leaders, political leaders around the world actually stored their money in shady offshore accounts. And, one of the leaders that was caught up in the scandal was Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta. It happened to happen, the scandal broke out while he was out of the country. He has said that he did nothing wrong, but him and close family members allegedly have accumulated, how much is it? More than $30 million of offshore wealth, which is concealed in offshore tax havens such as Panama. And Kenyatta is actually one of the current and former world leaders to feature in the leak, which was published last week. And it's funny because, hey, Africa, we're too compliant. This leak has been so epic around the world, and I know a few of you actually contacted me about it, that it actually toppled, I think, like the Iceland prime minister resigned during the Panama Papers, but something similar was seen here where billionaire Czech prime minister Andrej Babis actually lost an election last weekend that he had been widely tipped to win. But it's not even about that, you see, and I feel that part of the reason that the Pandora Papers became such a huge leak locally is because there's whispers and fears and allegations that President Uhuru Kenyatta will not step down when his term ends next year. But in my opinion, the more disturbing thing may be if he steps down and they give him this massive role, because I saw one of you guys saying that, he's been prophesied as one of the big liberation leaders of our time, and people are by I don't know which prophets. But, so everyone's keeping an eye on him. But if he's been prophesied to do that, best believe that Babylon also has an agenda for him and is possibly schooling him or trying to get him, to roll out, to be on their side. So you can say maybe there's a tug of war for him. Anyway, I'm not going to get into his character too much, but, other people. So there's several reasons why he was invited as a first president. Now, Kenya, first African president to be allowed to see Biden. Now, Kenya, the most significant one is that Kenya is actually head of president of the United Nations Security Council right now. That is basically the body that decides when global nations will send military into certain countries. And we know that Biden, all his attention is on Ethiopia. He was trying to put sanctions on Ethiopia. So best believe that this was probably the main reason that that the president of Kenya was invited to the divided states to meet Biden, although the U.S. press ran it that They discussed, transparency in local and international financial institutions and dealings. So some international publications were hinting that Biden actually, slapped Uhuru's wrist for his involvement in the Pandora Papers. Although the president has said he's not involved. Okay, we'll wait for his statement when he comes back. So is that the reason? I don't think the Pandora Papers were why President Uhuru Kenyatta was invited there. I think it has to do with Ethiopia. And I think the reason the president went is because there's just been a major decision, beloveds, at the International Court of Justice for Somalia, basically. You see, Somalia and Kenya have been at war over the borders. And, it's all about how most borders go across like this, but Somalia wanted to follow their national line, and they would have literally taken a huge chunk of Kenya's ocean. But the reason the two nations have been battling it out is because there's major, I think it's either oil or gas reserves there. So it's not really about the people's, rights, but the International Court of Justice actually voted against Kenya and partially, conceded to give Ethiopia what they had termed. So Kenya is basically going to lose a bit of our ocean if it's implemented. But Kenya has said they absolutely reject it and the decision, et cetera, et cetera. So I feel like that's why, from the perspective of Kenya, that the president went to meet Biden to possibly get his support. Like we saw with Sisi in Egypt when Ethiopia was building the dam and they went running, paternalistic mentality, running to get support against Ethiopia. So that is what, in my opinion, why the president went to the divided states. But you guys really think Biden is president right now? You don't think we're in an Obama 3.0? You don't think this is the third presidency of Obama? You don't remember him saying how he would love, if he was to come back, he'd love to do it remote control, where he literally had an earpiece in someone's, in a puppet's ear, and he was kind of in the basement calling the shots? You don't think after Biden went, after Uhuru went to meet Biden, that he just slipped this way and got a quick word from the architects of this New World Order agenda? The people who are running the world or implementing the shots of the outer world nefarious beings, the beasts, would highly surprise you. But the question remains, will President Uhuru Kenyatta be for or against the people of Africa? Because it looks like they're really prepping him up for a massive role in this New World Order agenda. I won't even say what I was going to say next. Shuko pamoja.